Alright guys, welcome back to another video. Okay, this video is going to be a little bit longer because it requires a longer video. Today I posted on my Facebook. I said that you guys should ask me questions and I was going to go through those questions to answer them to the best of my abilities. Okay, but first I want you to know that this video, my points I'm going to say are going to be all mixed up. Okay, it's actually my first time doing a long form video like this, so I'm not used to organizing my thoughts, so bear with me because the points are going to be a little bit scattered. So the first question that stood out to me, I think it's a very important question coming from a young person. This is something that many people do not pay attention to a lot of the times. Okay, but it's a very important question, and this is something that many people should be looking into immediately. What are some steps you took when you left high school in order to better your life or prepare for your future? First of all, I like that he led with graduating high school because that's the first thing. Something I learned in the past is in order to guarantee success in your life is you have to graduate high school, you have to get a job, and you have to get married before you have a child. Okay, based on what I've learned, if you do all of these three steps, there is no way you will be unsuccessful. Okay, if you graduate high school, if you get a job, and if you get married before you have children, that's a guarantee that there's going to be nothing that's going to be holding you back. There's going to be nothing that's going to be hindering your progress. After you graduate high school, you first have to answer this question for yourself, okay? What is your ultimate purpose for life? You as a person, what is your purpose? Okay, the Christians are going to say your purpose for life is to do what God wants for you, okay? That's a Christian answer. It's a very good answer. What does God want for you, right? For me personally, the purpose for my life is to procreate and make sure that my descendants are well taken care of. That's what I want to do. If there was no chance in this world that I will ever be married and ever have a child, I don't think I'll be doing what I'm doing right now. I'm a very minimalistic person. I can live in the shoebox. I will be fine. I don't need expensive cars. I don't need a big house. I don't need much, okay? The only reason why I want to get these things is because I want to make sure that the people who depend on me in the future are going to be taken care of. They're going to have the things that they want, okay? So that's my purpose for life, okay? So with that being said, I think the purpose for my life, being able to provide for my children and my wife aligns with God's purpose for my life, right? Because He wants us to be fruitful and multiply. And I think that's the purpose for most people as well, like if not everyone. Of course, there's some people who will never be able to have a child. There's some people who will never be able to get married, right? But if you look at the big picture, the grand scheme of things, our main purpose for being here is to make sure that the human race continues. So after answering the question of your ultimate purpose, now you want to ask yourself, what does success mean to you? Okay, because whatever success means to you might not mean to me or the next person, because everybody is different. So what does success mean to you specifically? How much things do you need to feel accomplished, right? How much stability do you need to make sure for you to be satisfied that your children, your wife, your people who depend on you are taken care of? Like how much things do you need personally to be satisfied? What does success mean to you specifically? And then after you figure out those two things, now you're going to make a plan, right? You're going to make a plan A and a plan B, because in this life, we're going to be realistic. Things that you want are not always things that happen. So the thing that you want, it can be so glamorous. But what if you never get there, right? There needs to be a plan B. This also ties into something we talked about a few days ago, right? We talked about your passion. Your passion is not always the thing that you need to be doing, because whatever you want to accomplish, your passion might not be enough to help you get over there. We're not going to focus on our passion, okay? We're going to focus on the realistic option that's going to get us there. And then we're going to make a plan B from that realistic option. My goal in the beginning was to go to medical school and be a medical doctor, okay? I wanted to be a surgeon. I'm very realistic. Okay, I asked myself, I want to be a surgeon, right? But realistically, what is the chance of me going to medical school and making it out of medical school in 8 years' time after high school? How many people go to medical school? How many people graduate? It's not to say that I can never go to medical school and be able to graduate. I'm saying realistically, what if life happens? So my plan A was medical school. My plan B was nursing. My plan C was being a police officer. As you all know, I went to the military before I did all of these things. And that ties me into my next point. Try not to compare yourself to other people. I remember when I went to the military after I graduated high school, I used to think to myself, I'm like, wow, I graduated with all my friends. They all went to college and I'm here, I'm in the military. What becomes of me now? I'm not going to go to college anymore. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do that. Like, what becomes of me? But fast forward, now I've graduated college and I'm not even old. Okay, I graduated college, and some people who went to college before me, they're still in college right now. Some people made it out. Some people just dropped out. So you can compare yourself to other people. Some people have it figured out early enough. Some people don't have it figured out early enough. That doesn't mean anything. Your path is different. Your fulfillment threshold is different. So the things that you do should also be different to get there. When I graduated high school, like throughout my life, I've been a very rebellious person. Okay. Usually things that are common, I decide to stay away from them. Sometimes it's bad, but sometimes it's really good because it ensures that you're not going to bow down to peer pressure. I remember there was one time I was in the military, I was on deployment. Everybody will be drinking, everybody will be smoking, everybody will be, vaping and stuff like that. I was basically the only person who was not doing all of those things. It's not that vaping is bad for, I don't care. I was not doing those things. So my friends, they went out, they bought alcohol-free beer. Yes, they exist. Alcohol-free beer. They were like, are you going to, drink this alcohol-free beer? I was like, no. I don't want to drink alcohol-free beer, okay? The fact that it's beer, I'm not going to drink it. Even like when everybody is watching a certain TV show, usually I don't watch it in the beginning because, I don't know, I'm just rebellious. If you tell me to do something, I don't want to do it. I want to do my own thing. Don't compare yourself to people and do not follow peer pressure. My next point is, in the early stages of you preparing for your life, if you are a man, do not get a girl pregnant. If you are a girl, do not get pregnant, okay? This alone can set you back years and years. I'm not going to tell you how not to get pregnant. I'm not going to tell you how not to get a girl pregnant. But if you do these things, there's a high chance that you will not get to where you want to get in the future. If you do it before you are married, okay? There's a very, very high possibility that you will not achieve what you want to achieve, okay? I'm not going to elaborate more on that. I'm just going to leave it right there. We already talked about plan A, plan B. We already talked about do not get someone pregnant. We already talked about no comparison. And then the final step, find a partner who actually likes you. Find a partner who you also actually like. Many times you will see these people who they look so nice. You see them on social media, everything looks good. Okay, that does not mean they'll be a good partner. Okay, I'm not saying do not be with somebody who's beautiful. I'm not saying do not be with somebody who you find attractive. Those things are very important, in my opinion. The most important thing is finding somebody who actually likes you and somebody who you actually like. And also there are a few values that have to align, okay? Maybe when it comes to religion, when it comes to your idea of raising kids, there are some values that needs to align. We can talk about that in another video, but this video needs to be not too long. I don't believe you have to be very old in order to find your partner. As a lady, I recommend 19, honestly. 19. Whoever you're dating, that's the person you should be looking forward to being married to. If you don't see yourself in a relationship 50 years from now or 20 years from now, do not be in it right now. Why are you dating somebody who, if you were to be married forcefully, you wouldn't be happy with them? Like, why are you dating them? You shouldn't be dating them at all. I'm not saying you can be friends. I'm not saying, all of that. There's no reason why you should be dating somebody for 3-4 years if you don't even know if you're going to be happy with them if you are married to them. All right. But at the end, you'll understand it. So just to summarize, when you get out of high school, the steps you gotta take to make sure that you are successful in your future. Okay, the first step is you're gonna ask yourself, what's your ultimate purpose for life? Second, what does success mean to you personally? Third, what is your plan A and what is your plan B to make sure that you get to where you want to get in the future to achieve success? And then it brings us to the main points, right? You're not going to compare yourself to other people. You're not going to follow peer pressure. You're going to find a partner who actually likes you. But anyway, I know that was scattered, but we'll end there for now, okay?